Welcome back to Number Sense, the YouTube channel that helps you make sense of all the numbers in your life, or at least the ones in your math book. I'm Susanna, and this is video number 3 in our fractions series. Today we're going to talk about making one with fractions. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of these videos. As you can see, I have a completed fraction chart here in front of me. You can go ahead and assemble your fraction chart at home and then come back to the video when you're done with that. I'd like you to take the one piece and set it off to the side. Now, we're going to lay the 1/3 pieces under our one piece. So go ahead and do this with your fraction chart while I'm doing it with mine. How many thirds are needed to equal 1? 3, right. If you have 2 1/3, how much more do you need to equal 1? So if you have 2, how many more do you need? You need 1 more. That's right. All right, we're going to move these out of the way. Now let's put the 1/5 pieces under the 1. Uh-oh, there goes my chart. All right, how many fifths are needed to equal 1? That's right, there are 5. If you have 3 1/5s, how many more are needed to make 1? So if you have 1, 2, 3, how many more do you need to equal 1? That's right, we need 2 more. Good. All right, let's try it with the 1/6. So we're going to slide all the 1/6 over. My camera is having a hard time focusing on the right thing here, but we'll get it. Okay, how many sixths do you need to make 1? That's right, you need 6. If I have 1/6, how many more sixths do I need to make 1? So if I have 1/6, how many more do I need to make 1 whole? That's right, 5/6. What if I have 7/10? I'm actually going to move this down here where the tenths are so we don't have to move them all over. If I have 7/10, how many more do I need to make 1? So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we can see that we need 3 more tenths to make 1 whole. Okay, let's see. How about if I have 1/2? If I have 1/2, how many more halves do I need to make a whole? That's right, 1/2 more. Now, let's talk about non-unit fractions. We've been working with unit fractions, which are the ones that have a 1 on the top. 1/2, that's a unit fraction. 1/10 is a unit fraction. 1/8, and so on. Now, I'm going to put 3 1/4 under the 1. How many fourths do I have? 3. That's right. And we write it as 3/4. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. 3/4. Okay, the top number is called the numerator, and it tells us the number of parts. This is how you write numerator. Okay, the top number, the numerator, tells us how many parts. Let's look at this fraction. What is needed with this fraction to make 1? We have 3/8. How many more eighths do we need to make 1? If you need to look at your fraction pieces, that's totally fine. So if I have the 1 whole, and I put it with the eighths, all right, if I have 3/8, that's 1, 2, 3. How many more do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right, 5/8 is needed with 3/8 to make 1. How about this fraction? We read this 4/10. If I have 4/10, how many more tenths do I need to make 1? Again, you can look at your chart as needed. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/10 to make 1. Very good. One more. 1/2. If I have 1/2, how much more do I need to make 1? That's right, I need 1/2 more. Now I'm going to pause the video and build the fraction chart using only the ones, halves, fourths, and eighths. So you go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back. Here we are with our fraction chart built with only the ones, halves, fourths, and eighths. Now, I want you, well, we're going to do it together, but we're going to use these pieces to make 1. So we can use as many of them as you like, and we're going to come up with a bunch of different ways to make 1. All right? So there's the obvious ones. We have just 1. We have 1/2 and 1/2. We could do 1/4 and 1/4 and 1/4 and 1/4. We could do all the eighths, 8/8. All right, those are options. But let's try moving the pieces around and making some new options. How about if we use 1/2? What else could we put here to fill in the space where the 1/2 was? Well, we can easily put 1/4 and 1/4. We can put 2/4 there. So 1/2 and 2/4 makes 1. Is there another way we can do it? What if we use the eighths there? We could do 1/2, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, and 1/8. So 1/2 and 4/8. That's another way. We could try 1/2, 1/4, and then what could we put here besides the 1/4 that we already used? I see 2/8 that will fit there. So we can make 1 using 1/2, 1/4, and 2/8. What's another way we could do it? What if we take away the half altogether? I mean, all the halves. What can we put in the place of that half? Well, we can slide these fourths up. Now we have 1/4 and 1/4 and 1/4. That's 3/4 and 2/8. That equals 1. Cool. How about we take away one of the fourths? What can we put in that place? We can put eighths there. Now we have 2/4 and 4/8, and they equal 1. Okay, what else could we do? What if I take away another fourth? Now we have 1/4 and 6/8, and it still equals 1. Hooray! There are lots of ways to make 1, even just using the halves, fourths, and eighths. Maybe you can come up with some different ones that I didn't come up with. Now I'm going to do some of that again, and we're going to write down the fractions as we do them. So if we go back to where we were at the beginning, I'm going to put all the pieces back here and start with our halves and fourths and eighths all back together. Okay, there we go. Now, what was the first way I said we could do? We can do 2 halves. All right, so we can write that as that. 2 halves equals 1. Okay, we also could do 4/4 equals 1. And there's different ways we could think about this. We could think about it as 3/4, 1, 2, 3/4 plus 1/4. So we could write it that way, 3/4 and 1 more fourth equals 1. That's one way of doing it. We could write it as 2 fourths and 2 fourths equals 1. We can break them up lots of different ways. All right, let's try taking away one of the halves and using our fourths to fill in the place there. So now we have 1/2 plus how many fourths? 2 fourths. So we write 2 in the numerator and fourths in the denominator. 1/2 plus 2 fourths equals 1. Okay, we could take the fourths away, and what else could we use to fill in that spot that the half left behind? That's right, we can put eighths there. So another way that we can make 1 is by 1/2 plus 4/8. Okay? See right there? That's another way that we can make 1. Let's see, what's something else we did? Oh, right, if we take away some of the eighths, we can put a fourth back in there. Now we have 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 2/8 equals 1. Okay? What's another way we could do it? We could take away the other half. Now what do we have? Whoops, that eighth wanted to come along for the ride. All right, now we have 3 fourths plus 2/8 equals 1. All right, so let's see, let's do one more. So we have an even 8 equations. What if we did 1/4 and fill those spaces in with eighths? All right, now we have 1/4 and 6/8. So we can just write that as 1/4 plus 6/8 equals 1. Very good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this helped with your understanding of fractions. For a fun way to practice making 1 with fractions, I'm going to point you to the video called Concentrating on 1. It's a fun, quick game that you can play that just gives you more practice with what we did today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.